embarrassing moments in middle school. When I was in middle school, I went to a really old building, like ancient. I'm talking like this was the old high school, and it was so old that they built a new high school and then just decided to send all the middle schoolers there. And for whatever reason, whoever decided to build this school put this big, huge, steep staircase right by the gym, and every day I had to go down this staircase to go to gym. I think you know where this is going. So I'm walking to gym class, and I trip, not on like the bottom of the staircase, but at the very top, and I tumble all the way down the 25 steps on this staircase. And to make matters worse, I tripped in front of my boyfriend at the time, and he just like got to the bottom of the stairs and laughed in my face. Now, of course, in that moment, I just wanted to perish. I survived, but needless to say, my boyfriend and I broke up the next day.
Okay, maybe, just maybe, I might have broken into an abandoned house when I was 16 through a massive Halloween party, caused so much damage that the owners had to eventually demolish the house. Maybe. Hypothetically. Probably shouldn't be telling this story, but I got my Starbucks, so let's get started. This all started on a Thursday. I decided to ditch school with two of my friends. We're driving around in the car trying to figure out what to do, and then all of a sudden we drive past this abandoned house. And I'm just like, what's that? Me, as an adventurous explorer, since I started watching Dora the Explorer at a very young age, I convinced them to let's go check it out. So we pull up to this abandoned house, and I'm talking abandoned. Like, the grass was as tall as me, and I was scared. We go up to the front door, try to open it to get in, but it's locked. But then I see a mat on the floor, and I'm just like, these wouldn't put the key under the mat. These must put the key under the mat. So I wouldn't really call it breaking and entering. It's technically just entering. I didn't break anything to get in. As soon as I get inside this place, I see the potential and I get an idea. You know, every time I get an idea, when I was younger, it's never a really good idea. I'm like, I'm gonna throw a Halloween party. So we leave, I keep the keys because it's my place now. The next day at school, it was Friday, I started to invite everyone to a Halloween party. I might have been a bad kid, but I did have some smart moments, okay? And this was one of them. I didn't want to get caught knowing that it was my party. So I made up a fake person and said it was their party. Gang, gang. The name of the girl's party was Jenny. Jenny was throwing a Halloween party, and we were all invited. I invited people from 3 different schools, my school and then 2 other ones. And I told everybody the party's on Saturday. Saturday rolls around, I'm at Dollar Tree and I need to get decorations. Keep in mind, this house is abandoned. There's no electricity. So I buy lanterns and I buy tiki torches. Now it was party time. 40 to 50 people showed up. People wrote on the walls, "Thank you, Jenny." We almost freaking burned the house down because of the tiki torches, which was a horrible idea. I don't know why I thought it was a great one. There were so many people at that party. We were being so loud. We were blasting music. Obviously, the cops were called. Cops got there and I did like Houdini and I disappeared. And that's just one of the many horrible things I did back in high school.
Am I wrong for refusing to pay for my husband's family to go on vacation with us and then leaving without him? I am a 45-year-old female. I share 4 beautiful children, 23, 20, 17, 14, with my husband, male 49. We've been together for nearly 30 years and married for 24. We always take a big family vacation every summer. Due to COVID, that was put on a hiatus. Usually he pays for his parents and vice versa. Together we pay for our children. One of his brothers needed help, so my husband decided to cover him and his family. My husband retired a couple of years ago. We've always had separate accounts and a joint account. He has always been an avid hunter and fisherman. We are not rich, but we do live comfortably. I managed our finances to get us to this point. Now, when he retired, he started managing his money because I didn't agree with his irrational purchases. He recently invested a large portion of his savings into a large hunting tract, citing it was a steal he couldn't turn down. Mind you, we live on a large property where the hunting game is in abundance. I didn't understand the need to buy more acreage. Maybe it's a hunting thing. I reminded him that our trip was coming up and that he should have waited to make the purchase, since to cover his brother and his family of 6 plus his parents would be expensive. He assured me that he had it covered. I come home to a pretty boat in our driveway. I don't know a thing about boats, but all I saw was money. My husband receives a nice pension each month, but a percentage of it goes to our joint account and the rest to his savings. I calculated the land, and finally learning about the price of the boat, I knew he couldn't possibly have enough to cover the trip, which included our kids as well. So I asked him how he was planning on paying. He said he had it covered. Time rolls around for us to book everything. He mentions that he noticed I had a significant amount of money in my personal account and he was wondering if I could pay for the entire trip and he would pay me back his half. I told him no. He was aware of this trip and ignored it. My husband hates owing anybody and therefore would find a reason why he shouldn't have to pay me back, which is a con artist move to me. I proposed he sign an agreement to repay me with interest if he didn't pay me back in a set amount of time. We had a huge argument about it and he ended up leaving. I called and texted, no response. I received nasty texts from his mom and his sisters about how I was treating him. Therefore, I booked my family and I was even kind enough to purchase his ticket, though I hadn't seen or heard from him in over 2 weeks. The moment we left for vacation, the harassing calls and texts started. I turned my phone off and enjoyed my vacation. I came home to a nasty letter and his wedding ring stating that he wouldn't be returning until I apologized to him and his family for how I treated them. I'm not apologizing, but I am wondering, am I wrong for not paying and suggesting him paying me back?
Storytime about the craziest thing a customer did while I was working at Safeway. It was the middle of the week. I was already exhausted and halfway through my shift when this lady came through my line. She had only wanted 2 items, a pack of cigarettes and a bag of fried chicken from the deli. Apparently, the deli had given her a hard time, so she was already moody when she came to me. She throws her chicken on the belt and tells me she wanted me to go get some cigarettes with an attitude. I grabbed the cigarettes and rang her up. Her order ended up being about $12-ish, but she didn't have enough to cover the charge. Usually, I'll mark down the order if the customer doesn't have enough money, but 1, she already had been pretty bitchy to me, and 2, she only had $6. So I told her that she only had enough for the chicken but not the cigarettes, and that's when she started freaking out. She starts yelling at me in gibberish and I can barely understand a single word that she's saying, but I apologize and try to finish the order. Instead, she picks up the fried chicken and throws it at me, calls me the F slur, and then walks away. As she walks out of the store, she also slams the newspaper stand that we had in the lobby of the store, sending all of them flying everywhere. It was nothing too crazy, so I brushed it off and continued my shift. A little while later, it's almost 10 p.m., which is close to closing, and I'm even more tired and ready to go home. At the end of my shift, I would just kind of chill and sit around on my phone, but then I look up and see the same lady coming into the store. At this point, it's really only me, my manager, and 2 other coworkers running the store, so we're trying to hurry and finish closing everything up when she walks up to the register again. Thankfully, my manager stepped in and took care of the situation. Apparently, she wanted the cigarettes again, but had enough money this time, so he rang her up and she was on her way out. Now, we all thought, awesome, we can all go home soon, she'll probably be the last problem customer of the night, and we're all talking in the lobby. However, we noticed that the lady was still standing at the exit. This is when she lifts up her pant leg, and what happens? This lady hit herself and let the turd purposely fall down her pants onto the floor. We were all in disbelief. My manager wasn't having it though. He walks over to her and starts yelling at her. He then hands her a plastic bag and tells her to pick her own up because none of us were about to. So she picks it up and leaves the store. We went to grab the mop, and when we came back, we saw that she had left the bag of crap on the Coinstar machine.
The time my teacher told my parents I spelled my name wrong. Let's start from the beginning. So you know my name is Lauren, but it's not spelled like the traditional sense of the name Lauren. It's an A-N instead of an E-N. But apparently not all of my teachers knew that. When I was in 1st grade, my teacher called my parents and told them I was spelling my name wrong continuously. I remember her telling me I was spelling it wrong on a daily basis, but I was so confused as a 6-year-old because I was spelling it right. So my parents came to the school. So we're all sitting there in the principal's office and they wheel in this giant chalkboard. They actually had me write my name in front of my parents. And at that point, my parents informed them that I had been spelling my name right the entire time. So if you have a uniquely spelled name like myself, just be prepared for no one to ever spell it correctly in your lifetime. Moral of the story, when your 1st grade teacher tells you that you're spelling your name wrong, don't listen to her.